It smells bad. Smells like creatine. All right. Go.
It smells like respect. Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is St. Watrick's Day. Yes. We watched an Irish cop movie. Irish cop. We ever heard that before? It's called The Guard.
Oh my God. You know what? I totally, the stereotype flew over my head completely.
It stars Donald Cheadle and Brendan Gleeson and the Onion Knight and Mark Strong and the Island of Ireland, and it's about a guard.
That psychopath guy, he was in Game of Thrones too, wasn't he?
He's been in a bunch of things.
Very familiar.
He's been in a bunch of things also with Brendan Gleeson, actually.
He looked I was like, I could have sworn he was in like the Bloody Mummers or something, but.
Also, shout out to Martin McDonagh, executive producer on The Guard, keeping it Irish, keeping it 100.
Well, his brother wrote it and directed it.
No shit.
Yeah, I said, man, Basement Rules. Yeah, I said that last week.
I didn't know.
This is Martin McDonagh's brother. That's why it's pretty, I feel like it's a little similar in tone to his stuff.
It is. It's McDonagh-esque.
But yeah, this is written and directed by his brother, whose first name eludes me right now. But his last name is McDonagh.
Let's call him Cliff.
It's certainly not Cliff.
Cliff McDonagh.
Classic Irish name, Cliff. But anyway, so we watched The Guard. I am very interested in everybody's thoughts on this one.
Do you think it's going to be polarizing?
I don't know. I've finished it, and I was like, I don't know either way, but I was generally like, I wonder what the guys are going to think about this one, because I don't know. Like, I just am interested in seeing how it's going to turn out.
You want to just jump right to the end?
No.
Okay.
No, of course not. All right.
Alec wants to get out of his hot tub.
He's all pruny. What did you all watch this past week? And I turn the mic to Mr. Alec.
Just one thing.
I
went and watched the Woody Harrelson basketball movie Champions.
Oh, I thought we were going to say White Men Can't Jump.
Nope, the other one.
I didn't know he had another one. I'll be frank with you.
It just came out.
Like a disabled person as the main character or something?
Like most of the cast is intellectually handicapped.
Oh, okay. I just saw like a promo for it on TikTok or something briefly.
Hell yeah.
It's like The Ringer, but they didn't intersperse the cast with the real actors pretending they were mentally challenged. It's just they're all mentally challenged.
Right.
It's really funny. It's really good. Woody Harrelson is a basketball coach in basically the NBA G League, which is like their minor leagues. And he gets fired for shoving his boss, who was Ernie Hudson.
Oh, shit.
Gets arrested for drunk driving, and in lieu of going to jail for 90 days, the judge assigns him to coach this youth group youth center basketball team of Special Olympics athletes.
The Mighty Duckston.
Yeah. And technically, Longest Yard had the same plot device too, remember? With Adam Sandler, because he got drunk.
But he went to full.
Well, he went to fucking jail. Never mind.
He didn't get the Gordon Bombay treatment and just got to coach youth football.
Sure.
But it's really funny. I thought it was really entertaining. A lot of surprisingly risque jokes from the cast. Lots of sex jokes that were kind of unexpected.
Love it.
About threesomes and banging their girlfriends and stuff like that.
I'm in. I'm totally in.
But it's really funny. And like Woody Harrelson is charming as hell.
He's great.
Caitlin Olsen.
Caitlin Olsen from Sunny.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
like the female lead, and she's really good in it. Ernie Hudson is in it. Cheech Marin is I guess he runs the youth center or something. But it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was better than I expected, and I feel like it was probably not quite as funny as The Ringer, but it was more genuine than The Ringer.
Yeah, the Ringer is kind of slept on though. Like I remember really thinking that was pretty funny back in the day.
It's insane premise.
And that one kid from The Ringer, they ended up bringing him into that episode of Workaholics, which is really funny too. That was a great episode.
Got a hot box with God.
Yeah.
And it's directed by a Farrelly.
Oh no shit.
I think Peter, and they are known for casting
the developmentally disabled.
Yeah, I don't want to say the wrong term. Mentally challenged.
Yeah,
people in their movies in roles that they are not the butt of the joke; they make the joke.
Yeah, respect to that.
And he got to do that for like this whole movie. And Woody Harrelson is the butt of like all the jokes.
Well, that's what made The Ringer work, right?
Yeah,
same idea.
Yeah, I think it works. I think it works better here with Woody Harrelson than Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville. Yeah, I think Woody Harrelson has a little bit more gravitas than Johnny Knoxville.
Isn't it kind of wild, like how Woody Harrelson went from being just like doofus on Cheers to being like a really good actor?
He's got incredible range too as to what kind of character he can be. You know what I mean? Like he's very good.
Oh, he can be menacing. He can be charming. He can be silly. I think he's slept on as well. I think he's great typically.
Oh yeah, he's a guy that like I feel like he's always good. Like I don't know, talking about
he's never the problem in the movie.
Talking about Martin McDonagh movies, like he's fantastic in fucking 3 Billboards and.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's wonderful in 7 Psychopaths, which you still need to see.
I need to watch it. Yes. Anything else?
At this point, don't even bother.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I would say no. I didn't watch any other movies. We're watching the show on Apple TV called Shrinking, which has Jason Segel and Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah. I saw a commercial for that.
And it's the same, basically the same creative team as Ted Lasso.
Oh, okay.
And it's really fucking good. Like it's really funny. And Harrison Ford is so good in it. It's just like, it's basically like how I would expect him to act in real life. He's like a cantankerous curmudgeon, but he's also funny and just like a dick.
So he's actually like trying Harrison Ford. That's good.
Yeah.
It's not
what is it,
part-time. Part-time. Can't wait for that new Indiana Jones.
What's the show about?
Jason Segel. Well, actually, Harrison Ford is a therapist. Jason Segel is a therapist who works under Harrison Ford, like in his practice. And Jason Segel's wife died like a year ago, and he's trying to get his shit back together with his daughter and his family. While Harrison Ford's dealing with other shit. Jason Segel's like the main character. But Harrison Ford's really good at it. The whole cast is really good. It's a really good show. But I would check it. I think the last episode is about to air this week. And it's enjoyable. The neighbors, the wife is played by the woman who played Kate on the Drew Carey show. I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of her name.
And her husband is Jefferson Darcy from
No kidding.
Married with Children.
Yeah. Love that guy.
And he's so goddamn funny. There's a scene where they're like he's driving by and something's happening outside. And this old lady is racially profiling somebody. And his wife is out there trying to figure out what's going on. And he's driving by. He's like, "Hey, honey." "Hey, Pam." And she's like, "No, we're not talking to Pam." I was like, "Oh, eat a dick, Pam." Keeps driving. It's really funny. I enjoy it, but I know Apple TV is kind of lost for a lot of people. It's not as accessible as a lot of the streamies due to the people not wanting to give up their Apple ID codes.
Yeah,
which
I
get.
It. I can put it on the Plex though. I mean, I got that Severance on the Plex that I still need to watch.
What's Apple TV run a month?
I don't know. We have a free thing for it right now from something.
I think it's like $8, something like that. It's not much. And also coming up, I know you don't care, guys. I don't know why. I think I saw your Orioles shirt. They have like live baseball every Friday or Saturday or something like that on there.
Yeah, they'll rotate around like the
and
game
the broadcast
or something.
The broadcast is super weird. Like the way, at least if they don't change it from last year. Last year it literally looked like you were watching like an Xbox game. It was like really strange. Like, but yeah. Because I remember there was like one Oriole game towards the end of the season, and it was exclusively on Apple TV, and I was like, "What am I looking at?" It was so like I give him credit. I mean, it was different, but I was like, "What am I looking at?"
Yeah, but
so
all those different like streaming services that are starting to do the sports, like they're all trying to like differentiate their product, and it's like sometimes you just got to stick with what you got to stick with the basics that people are used to at first, and then maybe. Maybe should choose to do different shit a little later on.
Yeah, no, I completely
like when Fox first started. I don't even know if Fox does hockey anymore, but when Fox first started doing hockey, and they had like
the animated puck,
the glowing puck and shit like that.
That was great.
To be fair though, watching hockey on a standard definition TV is like super hard. Like I don't think we can appreciate that nowadays, but like watching hockey on like an old television was fucking impossible. So that's probably
I couldn't even imagine watching it on like a tube TV now.
Oh yeah, I used to back in the day, but yeah,
you can't. It's hard to see the puck
now.
Yeah, like on a yeah, let alone on a tiny little. Rounded glass screen.
Oh God, remember those days. Anything else, my friend?
No, that's all I watch. There's a few other shows that I've watched bits of here and there, but nothing. I guess I did finish The Last of Us. That show fucking rocks.
Did you like it? Yeah.
Yeah, the show's fucking awesome.
I'm really
I can't wait. Yeah. Can't wait for season 2, even though from what I understand it's going to be super depressing.
Yeah.
Even more so than season 1. And season 1 had its fair share of depressing shit.
I absolutely love part 2. Like, I love the game, and I'm very excited. I thought, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but I thought it was a grand slam. I thought they killed it. I thought it was pitch perfect to the game. And it's like the first time, I think, it's the first time that they've ever put, like, care into an adaptation of a video game. Like, it's perfect. And, I don't know, it sounds weird, because I went back and replayed the game. During watching the season, and like it was interesting to see like how many lines they just straight lifted from the game, and I think
Naughty Dog's good writing.
Well, I mean that's just it though, right? Like I think like a lesser production wouldn't do any of that, because you know what I mean? Because it's always like I feel like with these live action adaptations, of video games, they always seem to want to distance themselves from the video game. I mean, we watched enough of them on the show.
Did anyone watch the Uncharted movie?
I couldn't bother. Like, I heard it was so bad. And I mean, I am very precious about those games, and it being bad would have just made me really upset. Alec, I don't know.
I do remember the one line. It was like, I can't believe we're Uncharted.
Oh boy.
Alec, you'll appreciate this. And Gogs, you will also appreciate this. So in the last episode, right, you see Ellie's mom. That actress is the actress that voiced Ellie in the video games.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that was like super cool. So like the actress that kind of gave birth to that character in the show. I thought that was a very nice touch. Also, the original voice of Joel was in the previous episode. He was one of the disciples of David. So
what's that actor's name?
I can't think of it right now.
Troy Baker?
Pedro Pascal.
No, Troy Baker. He's a prolific video game voice actor. He's done like every big voice. It's Troy Baker.
Pascal is
he's
the
awesome.
best.
He's so good. And I think we might have talked about Pedro Pascal a little bit, but like he seems, I know this may be all bullshit, but like just from interactions you see with him, he seems like such a genuinely nice person. Like I just want the best for him. Like he doesn't seem like phony at all. He seems just like a generally like pleasant person and seems to be very appreciative of what he has. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's like him and Ke Huy Quan like are both like having this like magical moment in the sunlight.
But Pedro Pascal has been a pretty successful actor for a while, but still.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal he's been working consistently.
I mean, Ke Huy Quan hasn't been in shit in 30 years.
Hold the phone, pump the brakes. I feel
you just want to compare everybody to Ke Huy Quan right now.
I do. I love him. But like
So do
Pedro
I.
Pascal was like a really good. He's been a good actor for a while. He was He was the Red Viper of Dorne, right? And then he was the Mandalorian. Everybody loves him in that. But I feel like now he's like really. I think people are finally like appreciating how good an actor he is.
Pedro Pascal is a guy that guys like us, would be like, that guy's always good in movies. You know what I mean? But like normal people didn't really know him.
Right. I feel like Gen Pop is finally giving him his due.
Remember that movie that we watched a while back? I don't think we did it on the show. I think we watched it all together. That Triple Frontier that he was in with like Charlie Hunnam and Ben Affleck. That was a solid movie. But like he was in a lot of stuff like that, where he was like
he was in The Kingsman 2.
Yeah, that's right. But I love him. He's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Last of Us was really good. I really need to go back and watch Chernobyl because it's the same showrunners. I mean, I watched like 2 episodes of it. I need to finish it.
I loved Chernobyl. Chernobyl I couldn't stop watching.
I heard it was great. Like I said, I liked the first 2 episodes. I need to finish it. But it's the same showrunners, guys, that did Chernobyl, that did Last of Us. Also, Alec, let me ask you a question since you just finished it. Did you feel, this is a complaint I see often, and I like never felt this once. Did you feel that there was a lack of zombies in the show? Or clickers, whatever you want to call them. Like, I thought there was plenty. Like, I didn't.
I mean, you didn't see one after, like, episode 2, really. But, like, it didn't bother me because just like in The Walking Dead, like, yeah, there's zombies everywhere, but the point of the show is how awful humans are.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the zombies are secondary to the people. But like when you think episode to episode, like you might have only seen them in like 3 or 4 episodes, and at that point it was like one clicker because like there was a bunch in the episode where they're escaping was Des Moines.
Yeah, with the bloater that showed up. That was fucking awesome.
And then, but like the episode with Nick Offerman, I don't think there were any.
No.
The episode with where they found his brother, I don't think there were any. The episode with the priest, I don't think there were any. Like, but I don't find it to be a problem because like they're not the ultimate.
Yeah,
issue.
And it's not a video game where you have to pad out your storyline with like action. You know what I mean? Like I didn't. Also, I get it on one, it's a time thing, and 2, it's a money thing. Let's be honest, we all know that. But I honestly, it didn't bother me. I kept seeing people complain about it, but I was like, where are you? Like, why do you need this? Like, I don't know. I was pretty enthralled with the story as it was. But anyway, anything else, Helen?
No, God.
I watched 2 things and 2 halves of things.
Oh my God, that makes 3 things technically, right?
3 things technically. Start with one I'm halfway through, and I'll report back completely next week.
Report?
We're halfway through Akira or Akira.
Whoa! You said we. Who is we?
The royal we.
Oh! I thought you meant
my kids walked down like, is this a cartoon? I'm like, go upstairs.
I was like, you're watching this with your kids.
No, I am not.
I mean, it's not like there's nothing like they just wouldn't understand it. There's nothing like
it's pretty violent.
Yeah, it is violent, but I don't know. I don't pay attention to violence.
I know. But I want them to. I don't need them to be completely desensitized.
Of course, I don't listen.
Just like wash over them, like just like a clear film. But no, it's so we'll watch the rest of that, and then I'm also halfway through Possum, so I need to watch the rest of that.
Man, I can't believe you stopped watching. That's a tough movie to jump back into.
So
I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are on both of those films. You've never seen Akira before?
No, I've never seen Akira before. So
you know what? You should. I have all of. So, just so you know, Akira ends on kind of a weird cliffhanger. But the reason that it ends on a weird cliffhanger is because the manga was still going on when the movie came out.
Oh.
So Akira is kind of the it's like I'd say to make it easier. It's about the movie stops at about the halfway point of the comic books. Oh. And I have all of the manga. You should read the manga. Like there's 6 big volumes, and not to spoil anything, but the story after the movie is kind of almost better than the movie. It's awesome.
Super.
It's a shame that they never made Otomo, or the guy that created Kira. He said for years he wanted to make a sequel, and then he said he was going to make a follow-up television show for it, but it's never happened. It's a real shame.
Well, we'll report back on my disappointment next week.
I think you'll. No, I mean, it's a fucking masterpiece. Like, I love that movie. I've watched it 1,000 times. The animation alone, even if you watch the movie with the sound off, the animation is so good.
The animation's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been watching movies in bits and spurts as I've been like, so I've got this exercise bike, so when I ride that, like, I watch a movie, but it's like until I'm like out of breath and dying after 45 minutes, so I'm getting them in like little chunks.
Are you watching them like live on TNT, so you never get the same one and you never finish one?
No, I just like pause and then I go somewhere and I pass out and then I come back. That's how I watch The Guard, actually. But the two whole movies I watched, I guess I finished Ghost Ship. That movie's not good.
No shit.
It is certifiably bad. The big kill in the front of it is fun. The rest of it is stupid. And then the ending is dumber somehow still. And it's a very of its time new metal. It is just laced with new metal, and like it ends on like a new metal song as like the ambulance is closing, and then like maybe the demon of the deep, or maybe the ferryman for the river Styx, or whoever the guy is supposed to be, is loading Nazi gold back onto another cruise ship to make another Souls of the Damned. It's like, dude, I am the one.
Can I just say that I think that new metal horror is what I'm fairly sure we coined that expression, and it's one of the best things we've done. I was actually talking to somebody about this era of horror movies, and I just said new metal horror, and they're like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Well, like Dracula 2000," and like this is a horror guy. And it like washed over his face. He's like, "Holy shit, that's exactly what it is." I was like, "Yeah, man, like we really did hit the nail on the head on that one." Like
we coined it.
Yeah,
we nailed it. Yeah.
Whoever came up with it, I feel like it was a Seanism, but it is fucking spot on. Oh, Sean's not here, by the way. He's not suck. His dad is retired from getting his dick sucked by Sean, so I'm not sure what he's up to.
He's looking to be adopted by someone who's got a penis ready to be sucked. But yeah, Ghost Ship is just like a shitty version of Event Horizon. And I know that to be true because then I watched Event Horizon, and that movie rules. It continues to rule. It's Paul W.S. Anderson's best movie. People can throw fucking stones and spears and arrows at that movie all they want, all day long. I do not give a toot. That movie kicks a pile of ass. There is one thing I noticed on this viewing that I feel like I've never picked up on previous viewings, which is like when the crew finally gets on the Event Horizon and they get the power systems going again. And yeah, they found the guy who was all fucked up and he fell to the floor and he shattered because he was in deep freeze. And they're like, oh, there's some, like they're trying to have conversations about maybe this ship isn't haunted, but literally in the background of them saying these words on the bridge is just like alcoves of the command deck that are just literally just piles of blood and viscera and skulls. And the idea of a haunted ship still seems silly to them. But that movie kicks a pile of ass. Sam Neill's great in it. Lawrence Fishburne's great in it. They're the only two people that are like...
Sam Neill has blood cancer. Did you hear that?
Oh.
I know.
No.
Also, more sad news. Shout out to Lance Reddick, fucking Baltimore Zone. Like,
yeah, rest in peace, Lance Reddick.
Man, like, that sucks. Yeah.
Sam Neill? What? Sam Neill's got...
Sam Neill he announced that he has stage 3 blood cancer. I didn't even know blood cancer was a thing.
No, it's, what's it called?
Lymphoma? No, that's your lymphoma.
No, that's in your lymph nodes. It's, shoot. It's what you need a bone marrow transplant for.
Well, hopefully.
Oh, it is lymphoma. Never mind.
Hopefully he'll fight his way out of it. But like, man, Sam Neill's a fucking king, dude. That guy's great.
That guy is like a sci-fi legend.
Not even sci-fi, man. Like, remember Hunt for the Wilder People that we watched? He was so good in that. Like, he's another guy. He's like Woody Harrelson we were talking about. Like, he's a guy that's just always good.
But I feel like his horror sci-fi like library is strongest.
In the Mouth of Madness.
In the Mouth of Madness is fucking slept on like crazy. That movie.
President Evil.
He's in Resident Evil?
Isn't he like the President? President Evil. Yeah, in Omen 3.
I forgot. Oh my god, yeah, that's right.
Good call, Alex.
President Evil. He wasn't even the president in that movie.
No, he was like the ambassador.
Yeah, he was the ambassador to London or something.
That was such a disappointment in so many ways, especially after the beginning, that weird, like, suicide in the first, like, 2 seconds of the movie. You're like, oh, this is going to kick ass. That was kind of dope.
Yeah, then you get, like, actual Jesus shows up.
That's right.
But yeah, shout out to Event Horizon. If you're listening to this show and you haven't seen Event Horizon, I feel like that's a demographic that probably doesn't exist.
And it's also like a very good, like, Lovecraftian movie. Like, before that like became like too much of a meme.
Like, it's hands down Paul W. Anderson's like most nuanced. Is it his first movie?
I think it is.
Because he just goes by Paul.
No, I believe he made Mortal Kombat before that. I think Mortal Kombat came first.
I mean, that movie kind of kicks ass too.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's a lot of fun.
But that's everything I watched. TJ.
I watched two things. One, I watched, I don't know if I've ever had this experience before, but I watched, I had a discovery that, I watched, Police Story 3, aka Super Cop. And I swore that I'd seen this movie before, but apparently the version that I have always seen, and I've seen at least half a dozen times, is Super Cop, which is the American cut of the movie. I watched Police Story 3, which is the Hong Kong cut. And really the only difference in the movie, and this is a big one, there's a scene where Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh go to a fucking dog meat market.
Oh.
And you hear the dogs, like, barking and shit in the cages, and you see people, like, hacking them up. You're like, and it comes out of nowhere, and my American eyes were like, what the, whoa, where did this, and I'm telling you, I was like, I've seen this movie 100 times. Like, how have I never seen it? Oh, this is the only scene they edited out of the American version, and I wonder why. And it's not even like an important scene, but it's just so jarring to see a fucking dog meat market on a movie.
You like dogs?
I do like. I don't like them chopped up on my plate.
Were they selling hot dogs?
That's pretty good. But yeah, Super Cop's great. It's a fun movie. Michelle Yeoh's great in it. Great martial arts. I mean, I love Jackie Chan. But yeah, it's very jarring to watch the international cut of the film, which I've never seen, or the Hong Kong cut of the film, which I've never seen. Thank you, Criterion Channel. Like, but it's a cool movie. There's a lot of great fighting in it. It's like prime Jackie Chan. Highly recommended. But if you want to watch it, just find the version that's just called Super Cop. I think it's called Jackie Chan Super Cop. I think Miramax put it out in the late 90s. Don't stay away from Police Story 3, or at least maybe just find the time code for that, because I don't know. It was kind of fucking weird. It was like, I don't know. It fucked me up for a minute. I was like, I don't know. It was weird. Like, you see plenty of open air markets in movies with like chickens and stuff in cages, and like, but when you hear like a dog go, you're like, oh no, they're gonna have to fucking eat that dog. Like, but you know, what are you gonna do? I also watched a movie, that I have literally gone, I've been on my, Netflix and Amazon and all, and I have skipped over this movie countless times. Because the cover is really corny looking and it looks really generic. But it's a horror movie and it's called Last Shift. And I think it came out in 2013. It's very low budget.
Low budget.
It got recommended to me because, and I found this kind of interesting. So the director the writer and the director, two separate people, but they both worked on this movie. The writer and the director are remaking this movie. It's coming out this year, and they got a bigger budget. So basically, they're doing like the Evil Dead to Evil Dead 2 thing, where they're going to take the same script, the same movie, and just put a bigger budget behind it. Okay. And I usually hate remakes, but all the same people are involved. And after watching this movie, I did really enjoy it. I thought the writing was really strong. I thought the lead performance was really strong. But there was definitely moments where you could tell that they were like working with like a micro budget. Like there was things where like, so the basic premise of the movie is pretty simple. This is this rookie cop's first day on the job, and they put her in this old precinct. They moved their precinct from this old building that she's at to this new building, and she has to stay there and basically guard the police station, just sit there overnight because they have like a team of cleaners that's going to clean up all this old evidence there. So she's just there for the night. It's classic horror movie setup, right? Like you just got to stay here tonight. Nothing's going to happen. You'll be fine. And
wasn't that the Assault on Precinct 13?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's also like every like, haunted mansion movie. You know what I mean? Like it's a very tropey start, but it's good. It's good fertile ground for a horror story. So you find out that like in this old precinct, these three murderers are like Manson style killers, killed themselves in this precinct. And you find out that they're like, interesting enough, the name of the cult leader is Payman. Like his name is like Jonathan Payman. So I think that is a reference to the same King of Hell that's in Hereditary, because this is pre-Hereditary. But anyway, long story short, she's haunted by the ghosts of possibly ghosts, possibly real. You don't know. This movie does a great job at like warping reality where you don't know what's real and what isn't anymore. And I don't want to give anything away, but it's a very Tales from the Cryptsy kind of story. But I really liked it, and it's really short. It's only like 126 minutes long or something.
That's over 2 hours.
I'm sorry.
You mean like an hour and 27 minutes.
An hour and 26 minutes. I did my classic thing. Yeah, it's a little over an hour and a half, or a little under an hour and a half. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. I think you can still watch it on Netflix or Amazon. Like you can
watch it on Tubi. Like I did like you've done. I've seen
the cover
face with like half it. It looks like a new metal horror cover. Like it looks like it's.
Well, it's funny too because
trying way hard.
If you look at the other covers, like the cover that's on the Letterboxd poster, it's really bad too. Like all of the promotional stuff is terrible and it looks bad. But I really enjoyed it, and I thought that the writing was really clever. I liked where this the ending is not what I expected, and I thought it was really good. I'm kind of mad I slept on it for so long, and I'm genuinely interested in this remake that they're doing. And primarily only because all the same people are involved again. So it's like they get a second chance to kind of probably make more of the movie that they wanted to make to begin with, but they couldn't because they did it on like, I think it was like something crazy, like under $1 million. But it's real good. I highly recommend it. They're like, nobody is in it. It's all, no name actors, and some of the acting's a little rough. That's what you get with like a lot of low budget stuff. Like a couple of weeks ago, I talked about that first Mike Flanagan movie it was pretty good, but like it was definitely weighed down by a lot of like kind of, low budget acting. It's a little bit of a problem with this movie at times. But the lead's really good, and I don't know if I've ever seen her in anything else. But overall, it's a very fun, enjoyable horror movie that's kind of over before you know it. So I would definitely recommend The Last Shift.
Is the new version called Malum?
Yeah, it's called Malum, and I don't know where that comes from because that might be the demon that they resurrect or trying to resurrect, but they never mentioned it. But I was looking for that name. I knew the name of the sequel or the remake coming out, and they don't ever mention Malum or anything, so I don't know.
Interesting.
But it's quite good. It's quite good. Like I said, I really enjoyed it, and for something that they did on such a low budget, it's very impressive. So yeah, check out Last Shift. It's a lot of fun. Let's get into The Guard. I forget who sent it in the group chat, but I've been saying that all week. That scene from Team America, we're guards. That shit killed me. Gogs, what happened in The Guard?
So, in The Guard. You're introduced to the titular guard.
He did say that.
The Garda or whatever. It's the name of the Irish police. The Garda. I'm not even gonna try and say this. Looks like it's Sho-Chan or whatever, but it is
that Gaelic or whatever. That's a wild.
Yeah, but it's the police, and he's the police of this coastal town called Connemara, and it's kind of a one-man shop, and he is impossibly based. He just walks around and does what he wants to do. It's kind of starts, or you kind of paints the picture of like a glorified mall cop, like a Paul Blart for Ireland. Like he's just doing what he do. But that would be.
Well, I mean, he's capable. Like that's the thing.
No, but that's the thing. It's deceiving.
Yeah.
Because then you find out that not only. So I'm going to put a couple things down on Front Street here.
Sure.
All of the characters are pretty, including the villains, have some depth, and they all have they're written with a lot of intelligence.
Yes.
So they make for very interesting characters. Like even the bad guys are kind of compelling and interesting.
Everybody had I felt like a through line for this whole movie is moral compasses, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I feel like a certain part of Gleason's character is kind of I feel like he at one point maybe was idealistic in his life, but now it's just so everything is so mundane and he just is going through the motions. You know what I mean? Like in the very beginning, he is in that crime scene and he's making fun of the rookie because he's the rookie's talking about all these movie references and he's just he's dead. It's bullshit. You know?
Yeah, he's just sort of jaded. You figure he's a small town cop. There's probably not a ton that goes on, right? But then there is a murder. They find a dead guy, and the dead guy's, he's got his, shot in the head, and he's got a 5.5 painted on the wall or something. It's what the hell's this? And then, he gets a tip from an anonymous caller who is played by the Onion Knight from, Game of Thrones. And he says, check out this guy. He was getting into a spat with that fella. Bring him in, and they do so, and they kind of talk through, and they find out, this didn't happen, whatever. He's kind of led, it's kind of a red herring. But then you're introduced to Don Cheadle's character. He's from the FBI, and they're here to stop $500 million worth of cocaine from hitting the shores of Ireland.
Yeah, and to which Gleason says, I thought when they showed the three suspects, one of whom is the Onion Knight, he's like, I thought only black fellows were drug dealers.
Yeah, so Gleason's character has there's some racist undertones, but then he sort of drops it later.
I believe he says that I'm Irish. Racism is part of my heritage or part of my personality or something. I think I mean, maybe I read this wrong, but I don't think he's racist in any way. I think he's just a dick. He's just he likes pushing people's buttons.
That's what I read. He's super based and super easygoing.
I think,
but he's going to do everything in his power to bother everyone around him, so they'll leave him alone.
Yeah, and I think
he's doing this.
Yeah,
he's almost doing that so that he'll get kicked off this thing, so he doesn't have to deal with being on this task force and working with people.
Yeah, I totally agree with Alec. And I think he also he does a lot of shit later in the movie, and especially with Cheadle, where he asks a lot of these kind of fucking stupid ass questions about America. It's he knows what he's talking about. He's just fucking with them. I think that's his whole character. And like Alex said, I think it's spot on, is that he all he wants is to be left alone, which is we'll get to it later, but one of my favorite scenes is him and Cheadle just hook up and he's like, well, I got a day off. I scheduled it, and he takes his day off to go have sex with two prostitutes. It's amazing.
But he dresses like Willy Wonka.
Yeah, it's tremendous. So Don Cheadle's here. They're trying to catch these guys in the act of smuggling $500 million worth of cocaine into Ireland, and the bad guys consist of the Onion Knight and Mark Strong, who I think is very well loved and appreciated by the cast of Movie the Podcast. And this third guy who just looks like a maniac. Also, you're introduced. Well, two things happen. Brendan Gleeson's character, Sergeant Jerry Boyle, gets basically a new partner very early in the movie, who investigates this murder with him or is doing the crime scene or whatever. And, he, same shit. He just gives him shit. Like the guy brings him a coffee and tries to be nice, but he wants nothing to do with him.
I order.
He throws the coffee on the ground. The guy drink a latte.
And the poor guy mutters something. I'm like, I thought it was a cappuccino. And there's also some weird pervert that just runs around the island taking pictures of dead people. But that guy's just
that shit cracked me up. Like,
yeah.
He's like, oh, what is he? Isn't he with the media? He's like, no.
It's what he does.
Didn't he say something later on? He's like, that lad he's got a affinity for photography that I can't wrap my head around or something. He says something clever. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Brendan Gleeson's character once again is written very clever. So they go to this debrief. And then Brendan Gleeson raises his hand and says, oh, by the way, this one guy one of the 4 guys you're looking for is dead. So heads up. So because he did that, because he raised his hand, because he explained that, and because there's obviously some evidence of this crew, or at least elements of this crew operating in his town, Don Cheadle.
Real quick, Gogs, because we skipped over like a very pivotal scene. The opening of this movie is these kids joyriding in this car and flipping the car over and presumably all dying.
Yeah.
And Gleeson drives up on the scene, sees the carnage, grabs the kid's drugs out of his pocket and trips acid, and that's how the movie starts.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot he took a hit of acid to open the film.
Yeah, sorry. That is like it's a perfect opening scene for this movie and his character. It's kind of amazing.
Like he's just dealing with the malaise of being a small town cop. He just wants to be let be. So now him and Cheadle are investigating this thing, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and what the connections are, and yada yada. But then Brendan Gleeson takes a day off to bang whores, and that same day Don Cheadle walks around the island, and no one tells him anything. So there's that.
The scene where he interrogates the couple that only speak Gaelic, and they subtitle the Gaelic, and it's like, the guy's not being rude, but he's just like, I can't, he's like, if I knew what it was, I wouldn't tell you anyway. He's like, excuse me, I have to go fix this lamp or something.
Yeah, my mother-in-law gave me this lamp, I need to fix it or something like that.
That shit killed me. Like, he's yeah, and then there's a very cute scene where Don Cheadle talks to a horse, which I really like. It's like,
yeah, Don Cheadle can't,
brilliant.
Love that guy. Can't connect any dots. Brendan Gleeson banging whores. Meanwhile,
one of whom is Queen Mauve from The Boys.
The Boys.
She looks.
Oh, I didn't put that together.
Yeah. Oh my God, she looked fantastic. I was telling Gogs like I have to bow down to a Gogsism. She looks better as a blonde, and then as Queen Mauve, but she, hachi machi, as they say.
That's what they say.
Millhouse said it.
Machi. So, his new partner also comes across in the middle of the night after they had their briefing, pulls over these the 3 drug dealing fellas, in the like kind of apropos of nothing. And I guess the local guard doesn't have guns, so he pulls them over. He basically gets executed.
Well, even if he had a gun, they draw on him first. It's not like he's got a chance to like.
He could have drawn down to start with. If this was America, Jack, he would have been.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So he gets got. So now he's missing. They store his body at like a suicide spot. So they're introduced to his wife, who's coming to see Jerry Boyle and saying her husband's not here and gonna go on the look for him. So that becomes a secondary plot point.
She knocks on the door. He opens the door. He's like, "I'm sorry, love. The agency sent you to the wrong day."
Yeah. This is before the prostitute scene, so that's hilarious that pays off. Also, when she shows up, he's literally just in underpants.
He says, "Let me slip into something less comfortable," and then he walks away. I love Jerry Boyle.
He rules. Also, like, you don't get much screen time with the new partner, But like, I genuinely feel bad when he dies. Like, it's like, it's
what's
sad.
sad, like, he's like the last thing he says is just get it over with so they can see what kind of cowards you are. Like, it's like,
oh my god! But like, he's only in like up to that point in the movie. The movie's just started, really, and you don't get to spend that much time with him. But man, like, his death was so much more effective than so many others that I've seen in movies that we reviewed.
Oh, yeah.
I was, like, really taken away by that. Also, you find out from his wife that it was a marriage of convenience and that he was gay. And Gleason has a line where he's like, he asked if like a man, what did he call it? An angry rent boy might have killed him. And she's like, do you have a lot of rent boys down here? He's like, no, probably in Dublin somewhere. Like,
they're shitting on Dublin the entire movie, first of all.
Yeah,
and
Dublin's
then
getting it on this one.
there's a scene. So in that same scene, she's like, cause she's Croatian, she's trying to explain what it means to be gay, and his response is, "Do I understand the mechanics of it?" And he says that all of his lines are delivered so dry and so perfect.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're trying to do this investigation. They're teaming up. Brendan Gleeson, Don Cheadle's out for a run on the beach, and Brendan Gleeson's out there swimming in the ocean in a wetsuit, and they're having breakfast, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I was fourth in the Olympics in swimming." You don't get but nobody knows what to make of Brendan Gleeson.
And Brendan Gleeson
downplays everything.
A big fat guy, like he's not, like, you know what I mean? Like he's not.
He's a 6'1" heavy set fella, and but he's done his research. Like, he knows about Don Cheadle's character, and he knows about, like, to Alex's point, like, he's smart, and he likes to just push buttons and like
very smart. Like, he's very intelligent. Like, that's something I think the movie does a great job in framing, is that everything that he does, including what happens at the end, which we'll get to, is incredibly deliberate. Like, he is not stupid. I think in a lesser movie, he's like an idiot, but like, he's quite the opposite. He's the smartest guy in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the lesser movie, he's played for laughs. He's played for the idiot cop.
He's still funny. He's still played for laughs in a different way.
But no, he's like laughing. You're laughing with him, not at him.
Again, like the Paul Blart the comparison. Sure.
Yeah. So they start hitting it off. They start connecting dots about, all right, look, these people are here. They look at some surveillance video. Like, they have some drinks together. They realize that the bar is under surveillance. And so the guy that got framed up before, he was in that same bar. They find that video, and they're like, oh, the guys that maybe framed him up for the murder probably saw him get into the fight that night. And then they look at that, and you're like, okay, everyone's just operating. They start connecting dots. Meanwhile, the bad guys are out preparing for this load of cocaine to show up. And then it's revealed that the rest of the police force, not Don Cheadle and not Jerry Boyle, are all on the take. So they're intentionally, this whole task force is being led astray on purpose. So, they're doing this, that, and the other. Jerry comes to some meeting. He shoots his mouth off. He basically gets, not thrown off the force, but basically kicked off of the case. Well, maybe they put him under suspension. I forget.
They don't really say. They just say he's off.
He's not working anymore. And also, the rest of the whole movie, throughout the movie,
before that, I think right before that, he meets one of the hookers for coffee.
Oh yeah,
and she blackmails them because she took pictures of them, and then one of the drug dealers knew that or set it up or found out.
Davos.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Davos set it up.
I'm not sure, but so he basically tells them, like, you're not doing this anymore. You're not on this case. You're not helping. And then right after that, he knows everybody's on the take, and he goes back. And they basically kick him out at the same time, and he's just like, whatever.
Yeah. Because at this point, he's sort of like, he's kind of over it, right? Like, he's like, fuck you then.
I mean, he was disillusioned before, but I think, like, to have everything so blatantly in his face that everyone is just crooked, like, you know what I mean? He just decides to just get, like, he's like, I don't give a fuck, like, whatever.
So then there was a couple of vignettes.
Are you about to get into his mother? Because I don't.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So there's a couple of, like, little moments and vignettes in the movie where he's visiting his mother, who's in, like, a convalescent home or an old folks home or something like that. And
I took it as kind of like a hospice kind of thing, because they make it clear that she doesn't have much time left. right away. But either way.
So there's some sort of tender moments between those two.
Really,
and it kind of helps flesh out like his softer side, and like even when he's being like sweet and kind to his mother, he tries to downplay it because I think he doesn't want people to know that is him. And then there's a really like it doesn't really matter in the order of operations. Well, it does towards the end of the movie, but through these 4 little vignettes, like she wants to go, they're hanging out and he takes her to church and she wants to go see live music again. And he finally takes her to a show and it's sweet and it's heartbreaking. And then the very next scene, you find out that she has passed away and that she killed herself. And it's just him solemnly packing up her stuff at this hospice and just being it's stoicism.
Yeah.
Throughout this is like his sort of thing.
Yeah, and also one thing I'd like to mention when he's talking to his mom, the mom's like him, like the mom's got like, you know what I mean? She's quick to make fun of other people, and she's, you know, he sneaks her whiskey, and she's got the same, like, I thought that was a little cute nod how you can see where he got his kind of like cynicism from and his quick wit. I thought that was like a nice touch.
Yeah, they're cut from the same cloth.
Mm-hmm.
So investigation proceeds. He's blackmailed, so effectively he's maybe out of the picture. There's a scene in the middle of the movie where there's this little kid who's running around, and I don't know why they kept that. This became sort of a running joke in the movie, but it gets dropped whenever they mention the FBI here. They're asking like, "Oh, criminal behavior," and like whatever it is, like
yeah.
like behavioral psychologist. No, just drugs. And everybody goes, and they get sad.
Because everybody wants to meet the FBI profiler, like the serial killer guy, but not the drugs guy. It's like, oh, it's boring.
But one of the people that asked this kid who keeps showing up in the movie, and he's like riding this bike. He's got a dog, and at some point he calls this thing in. Where at first I thought it was a body they were pulling out of the moors.
I thought it was going to be the partner's body.
I thought it was the body of the cop.
Exactly what I thought.
But he picked it up so gingerly. I was like, God damn, Brendan Gleeson's strong. But it's a bag full of guns and explosives and stuff. So I'm dumb. I was like, I guess this is like I think this is what the bad guys stash their guns and shit. Like this will be pivotal later. But it ends up being sort of this interesting side plot where he meets, very much like when we watch The Foreigner, like this is Ireland. He meets his contact. This is an IRA weapons cache. And he meets a guy at an airport who's just doing multicolored pills. And he's like, hey, here's your guns and shit that I found. And then the dude's like, hey, wait a minute, some guns are missing. He's like, listen, you going to give me a bunch of shit about this? Like, these are the guns I found. I'm doing you a solid. Here's your fucking explosives.
Just to put a pin in it, the kid steals the Derringer at first.
Yeah.
And Brendan Gleeson's like, give me that. He's like, what is that? And it's a Derringer. Oh, it's what John Wilkes Booth used to kill Lincoln. And so I think that was a fun little thing.
Even that little kid is written so intelligent. Like every conversation, there's no conversations in this movie with dummies. Like everyone has like very intelligent.
They're written intelligent, but it's not like overly like it's. No,
it's not Diablo Cody.
It still seems natural. Like it doesn't. Even the kid seems natural. It doesn't seem like everybody's. It doesn't feel like the writer is talking. You know what I mean? It feels like these characters are talking.
Yeah. So anyway, he returns the guns to the IRA and he goes back to do whatever he's going to do. And then there's a scene where, so now he's off the case. Don Cheadle and the other chief of police, whatever, go to visit the wife of the missing, not yet known slain officer. And they're like, Jerry's not on the case anymore. And the other cop is just an absolute fucking asshole to this woman. And she's like, no, I'm only talking to Jerry Boyle. Fucking leave me alone. Like, the guy's just they're just laying on the fact the guy's a prick. I don't know why they necessarily had to show this scene.
I thought it was weird because up until then, he wasn't really a prick. They portrayed him as just, like, incompetent.
Yeah, it was an odd
And then all of a sudden, like, he's, like, a complete, like, piece of shit. And they, like, toned down the incompetence. They just made him a dick instead.
Well, he was also trying to maybe set a little bit of a frame up on the missing husband, There's like, I don't know, your husband
Yeah.
shows up first day of work and all of a sudden there's drug dealers here and now he's not here. Kind of a coincidence. Like,
But the way they made him seem before that wasn't like he was smart enough to even,
no.
I don't know.
Because he got like, he got confused by the code word about like giraffes and elephants fucking, so that's a party. He's like, Jesus Christ, we're just fucking around.
I agree with that. Like, this scene does kind of come out of nowhere. Like, it's a little weird. I kind of get what they're doing, but it's one of the few scenes in the movie where I'm like, it didn't really work for me. Didn't understand. Like, his motivation, I get what he's trying to do, but it doesn't work. Like, you almost need a different cop character to do this scene.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Of which they had plenty.
Yeah.
They could have picked literally any other one.
So now Brendan Gleeson's off the case. He's being blackmailed. His mom's dead. He's really got nothing left in the tank. So he's just going home, doing his thing. He hears from Don Cheadle that reliable intelligence has said that they're operating down in Cork now, so he's going to Cork. So he's like, well, good luck to you and whatever. So now he's sitting in his house. Here's a knock on the door, goes to investigate, comes back in, and the psychopath of the triumvirate of bad guys that are left is sitting there, and they have a little tete-a-tete at gunpoint about basically the guy monologues.
My favorite thing is that, like, if they just would have left, like, they would have got away with everything.
Yeah, true.
But they came back for him, and like he had already not cared. He's like, I'm done. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he was like,
totally. Do what you want. I'm out. If they would have just let him be, I guess it's kind of like shit. Is it Rambo? One of the Rambos. Like, if you just let it, leave him alone and say, you know what, fine, you're good, you're done. Then you can probably do whatever you want, get away with anything.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But they had to send the psycho back to clean up the loose end, and they monologue for about 20 minutes, and then Brendan Gleeson pretends that he has crabs.
That shit, oh my God.
That was amazing.
Yeah. He just keeps scratching his dick.
Well, it's a callback because someone else said something about somebody, they might have said something about like a gay prostitute kept the Derringer in his underwear to like, and that's where I guess Brendan Gleeson started keeping it.
Dude, when he shoots him and like, what does the psychopath guy say? He's like, I think
you finished me.
I think you
ended me.
And then he calls Don Cheadle and he's like, I shot him. And Don Cheadle's like, is he dead? And he does this thing where he just kind of walks over there and like pats his head.
He tells him, like, hold on.
Yeah, he's like, hold on. He's like, yeah, he's dead. Like, that shit's great.
But like the guy monologues the whole thing, confesses to the killing. The first killing was just a red herring to throw everyone off. They killed the cop just because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. They're going to kill him just to...
Number 5.5 was just bullshit because he was just fucking high or something. Like, it didn't have any meaning.
So, Brendan Gleeson fucking zaps this guy. Then he calls Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle's like, no, they're in Cork. We got reliable intelligence. Like, whatever, man. They're in fucking Spitell or whatever. Do whatever you want to fucking do. And so then he goes, and now he's having his, this I consider like a Rambo transformation. He walks to his closet and he's got his normal guard outfit.
Yes.
But then he decides to put on his like parade outfit and he gets all dressed up. He's got nothing left. Like, who gives a shit at this point? This is now, it's time to just go out like on your shield. So he fucking suits up and he heads down to the dock with his AK-47 and his 9mm that he lifted from the IRA. And he's about to get down to business because they're down at the dock. They're unloading tons and tons, $500 million street value of cocaine out of this boat onto this truck. And Mark Strong and the Onion Knight are there. And Don Cheadle pulls up and he's like, all right, fuck it. All right, thanks for coming. He's like, I called it in. He's like, they're not coming. He's like, what do you mean you're not coming? And then it dawns on Don Cheadle that, they're fucking here all by they're lonesome.
Yeah.
And that everyone else is on the take.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah.
So they have this great conversation about, like, have you ever been shot? And Don Cheadle's like, yeah, I've been shot. He's like, how's it feel? He's like, no, it's not too bad. No, it fucking hurts.
Well, it fucking hurts.
Because I don't know, they're like bonding even more over this. He's like, all right, you cover me, I'm going in. And Don Cheadle's like, it's fucking suicide. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to arrest these guys for murder and for the minor offense of smuggling cocaine.
Yeah.
And then he walks in there. It's like that. It's kind of ends up being like that scene in Tombstone where Wyatt Earp just wanders out in the middle of the stream and just has a gunfight. And he's untouched. Like, gets winged one time.
He gets winged, but he hilariously is just like, he's like in a straight line, just shooting. Like, he's not taking cover. He's just walking straight in.
And he's a big target. And they're like Don Cheadle's just unloading AK fire. It's a great shootout scene. And then Brendan Gleeson, and I think the only time he runs in the entire film, he runs and leaps onto the boat. Cheadle gets winged. He pulls the trigger in auto mode and fucking zaps the boat, hits some gas cans. Fucking Brendan Gleeson gets blown back. What I thought was going to happen is he landed next to like a pile of exposed cocaine. I thought he was going to grab a handful of it and just shove it in his face. And then like
a little too much, but yeah.
Get busy, but he didn't. They showed some restraint. And he ends up like walking down, like all the guys are dead. The Onion Knight's been shot. Onion Knight's below deck on a bed. The boat is on fire and it's like drifting out to sea. And he walks in there, zaps the Onion Knight, takes his gun away. They have a little back and forth, and Brendan Gleeson's like, I'm just gonna let you fucking die here. Peace.
Yeah, and it's funny because the Onion Knight has that kind of thing that Ra's al Ghul does or whatever. He's like, if you want me to beg you to help you, and then Brendan Gleeson is like, whatever, man, see ya. He's just like, it's like
lad of bitch. And then the boat explodes, and Don Cheadle's watched the boat explode, and then it goes to the next morning where he's sitting there with his arm in a sling, just sort of staring in the same area, and there's no sign of Brendan Gleeson, and everybody's like, there's the kid who likes to film or take pictures of crime scenes, and the plucky little boy kind of come back and kind of question him, and they're like, when this is a happy ending, it's like, a good man died. It's like, maybe he's not dead. He is an Olympic class swimmer. It's like, that's bullshit. It's like, it might be bullshit, but it's easy enough to look up. And then Don Cheadle kind of looks to the ocean, and a little smile kind of comes on his eye, and there's a little flashback of, I don't know if you're the dumbest guy I know or the smartest guy I know. Yeah. And then you're sort of left wondering. I mean, it is not explicitly stated, but I like to think, because he mentions it, right? Brendan Gleeson's like, even if I fuck these guys up, like, it just means that the drug mafia or whoever's going to come after me, I'll get no peace. So it's better off if everyone thinks he's dead. So yeah. I like to think that he actually got away. I think he's living his life somewhere.
Dead, but I would like for him to live. But I think he died. Because I also think that like part of the movie is him like, once his mom dies, and like I think he's definitely like he like at the end of the movie he just I think he was planning on dying. Like again,
well, he said they're like Don Cheadle's like, if something happens, he's like, who do you want me? He's like, I ain't got nobody. Don't do anything. Just slap a medal on me like you, and throw me in the ground.
I think him going out in like a blaze.
Throw me in the trash.
Yeah. Fill me up with cream.
Turn me into a cannoli. But anyway, yeah, so that's the movie. So I thought that everything in this movie was pretty strong. Like I didn't really think there was a weak point in the whole movie. And I felt like there was no like soggy middle. Like I was waiting for something that I didn't like to happen. And really the only thing I didn't like was that I wish we got more of Gleeson and Cheadle together. And when that's your kind of complaint, I feel like it's a pretty good movie because I just wanted more of these characters because I like their interaction. And I agree with Alec that the police chief, like being a dick to the wife didn't make any sense, but
it was unnecessary.
It was one scene. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, I thought like it was really strong. I thought it was a pretty strong movie.
I mean, Brendan Gleeson's a great actor. Don Cheadle's a great actor. It's a well-written, small movie.
But all the side people were great, too. I mean,
well, yeah, like, all the bad guys were, like, compelling and interesting. And, I don't know, the setting was kind of fun. Like, there was, like, a care to
all of the dialogue in this movie that I don't think I've seen in a lot of films. Like even like the small scene where Brandon Gleeson's getting blackmailed by the prostitute, and you can tell like she doesn't want to do it. She's like got her back against the wall. But even that scene, like her character is given like tons of character that I just don't see. I don't know. It's hard to describe because it's a nuanced thing, but like I don't know. These Martins know how to write characters. Like I guess I can say that. Like it's also, by the way, this is his first film. This was his first movie. This is debut. The Martin McDonagh's brother,
John Michael McDonough.
John Michael McDonough. This is his first film.
Wrote and directed.
Yes. Alec, did you like the science in this movie or the Derringer?
I liked the art.
The art. The art was
the art was my favorite part.
I did like the art. Did you like the live Irish music?
I mean, live Irish music is the best kind of music to be live.
It's pretty sweet.
I could have done with more river dancing. You could always have more river dancing.
There was actually none in the movie. They could have done some more, actually.
I thought this movie was good. I didn't think it was great. Like, I didn't like love it, but it wasn't bad. Brendan Gleeson is great, and Don Cheadle is great. I wanted more just Brendan Gleeson. Like, when they're riding in the car and they're talking about Don Cheadle's kids, he's, I got 2 kids. And you want to see a picture? He's like, no.
No.
He's like, what do you mean, no? He's like, well, all babies look the same. The only reason that they don't is they're exceptionally ugly. Do you have exceptionally ugly babies? He's like, no. He's like, well, then I've seen babies that look like your babies. I don't need to see your babies.
Yeah, that shit's hilarious.
When any normal human would be like, oh, yeah, sure.
Right, yeah. Yeah, he's a fucking
But he goes
weird.
out of his way to be a dick about it. Like, 5 ways. Yeah, like it was good. The bad guys were all good. And Mark Strong should be the bad guy in every movie. Mark Strong is the best.
He really is.
I liked his like slight character arc where he was like looking for like excitement, and then he finally gets like a shootout at the end when he's like, "Oh, this is like fucking Christmas." Like, I love that.
I also like that he's like, "I didn't like sign up for physical labor, so you guys deal with the body."
What he say is like, when I signed up to be an international drug dealer, physical labor was not part of the deal. Thought that was pretty funny. Anything else, guys? Anything else before you get into Five Knuckle Shuffles?
No, I've said a lot. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Guys,
I'm giving it a 9. I really enjoyed it. I think it. I'm not gonna lie. It subverted my expectations in the best way possible. It did the anti version of A Prayer Before Dawn. Because the cover of this looks kind of cheesy, if I'm being honest.
The posters for this, you want to look at bad posters, the posters are fucking terrible. The one that's on the Plex looks like a poster for like a Fox sitcom. Like, it's
it looks, the cover art is not, I was looking at this, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be good.
And like, if you look at IMDb, like, all of the posters are bad. Like, they don't have one good one. They all look fucking terrible.
But like, the movie is great. And John Cheadle's great in it. Brendan Gleeson's great in it. He really is just like an excellent actor. And, you know, I'm sorry that Banshees went against, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Otherwise, he would have the Best Supporting Actor, Academy Award this year. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I liked it almost took not quite, as hard a left turn as Observe and Report, but there's actually a lot of parallels between this and Observe and Report. Sort of like the malaise and like the mom, and then like at the end it gets like violent. And you know, I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I will probably revisit it because I enjoyed it very much. Alec?
I'm going to give it a 7. I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as either one of you, but I still enjoyed it. And like, Brendan Gleeson I love that guy. Like, I love that guy in, like, everything. Yeah, I can't think of a Brendan Gleeson movie that I haven't. There's probably been movies that I haven't loved the movies, but I can't think of anywhere I haven't loved him. He's just a really good all-around actor who seems to be finding some mainstream success in the later half of his life. Between all the Harry Potters and a lot of his dramatic roles and stuff that he does now, and some of his, like, comedic roles, kind of like this.
Yeah,
I forgot he was Mad-Eye Moody.
John Michael McDonough. How do you say his last name? McDonough.
McDonough.
He loves Brendan Gleeson. He's in another movie of his called The Cavalry, where I guess Gleeson plays like a priest or something. That again is listed as a dark comedy, so I'll have to check that out. So he's a big fan of his work.
Yeah, but I'll give it a 7. TJ.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a 9 for me, dog. I really enjoyed this movie, and like I said, it's a 9 because I think like it's not like a movie that like blows you away. Like this isn't something that's like I don't know. It's not something that like after I was over, it's like, man, that's like incredible. But like it's just everything they do is well done. You know what I mean? Like every facet of this movie is well made, and like
it's a well crafted movie.
And I feel
it's not a blockbuster. It's not like groundbreaking or.
No, and it's a story that, yeah, I mean, really the story isn't anything like mind blowing, but it's just, everything's like really well done. It's really well constructed. Alex is a great way to put it. It's well constructed. It's well made, well acted. It almost has like more, I know we keep bringing up his brother, but like, I feel like his brother's stuff is slightly more serious. And this had almost like a Coen Brothers-y kind of vibe in a way. Where I
don't know. I would say this was kind of on par with like In Bruges.
Yeah. I guess that's a fair point. But it's still like dark. It's like it's serious, but it also has like comedic elements, like I guess dark comedic elements. I just thought it was really good and it really worked for me. Also, the runtime was perfect. Like I never felt like the movie drug. I felt like it kind of jumped right into everything. And finally, what's her name? Dominique, whatever, Queen Mauve. Like, oh my lord! Like, she might, she's amazing. Like,
Dominique McElligott.
Where did she come? Like, I don't know. I always thought she was good looking in The Boys, but holy moly, that was a very pleasant surprise. But I really enjoyed this movie, and I thought, like everybody else is saying, Brendan Gleeson is just like he just pops off the screen. Like he's got so much charisma in this movie. Like you could just watch him like the whole time. This could be like a There Will Be Blood type thing where he's in every frame of the movie and I'd be in. Like he's so captivating in this film. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I was really hoping to hate it so I could piss Anthony off, but I really enjoyed it. So
very, very modest budget for this movie.
Oh, I would imagine so. I mean, it's pretty, you know what I mean? It's pretty low, like not a lot of locations.
Take a guess.
Like, I don't know.
700,000.
Oh, that's over $1 million. Probably like 20 million.
6.
Oh, well.
$6 million.
I would think Don Cheadle doesn't get out of bed for less than 10.
$6 million budget.
This was 10 years ago, though. So.
$6 million budget, but 21 million box office, so it's a certified hit.
Yeah, and this movie I never heard of before until Anthony brought it up. This came and went. I mean, I could understand why it's foreign, so like I could see why it would come and go. I don't know if did it get an American theatrical release?
I believe so. I remember seeing posters for it in America.
Really? It was quite good. I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed it. And I look forward to watching his other films because he's got, I think, 3 other movies that I need to check out. But yeah, solid movie. Good times all around. I believe this is a certified good-ass movie by our metric.
It is a certified good-ass movie.
Put that on the Blu-ray. All right, so whose pick is it next week? Who's already gone? I forgot.
I've gone.
I had a birthday pick, right? We already did.
Alec, have you picked something this month?
No, I have not.
Yeah, and it's your turn, buddy.
Well, I'm down to 2.
Okay.
There's one. It's a movie called 71.
Okay.
It's about the Irish Civil War. Is it the Civil War? I forget. I think it's the Irish Civil War.
Okay.
In 1971, and a member of the Irish army gets left behind in North Ireland accidentally, and he has to make his way back out of North Ireland.
Oh, I saw a post. They had this. That's not that old, right? It's like 2018.
2014.
Yeah.
Oh, it was much older because they showed this at the Charles. I remember seeing posters for it. Okay, that
So it's
sounds
either
cool.
that or Blown Away.
I don't know what's Blown Away.
Blown Away with the IRA and
Tommy Lee Jones and
Tommy
Jeff
Lee
Bridges.
Jones.
The bombing, the IRA. Tommy Lee Jones is the IRA bomber who's bombing Boston.
The U2 album that he buys at a swap meets, the soundtrack to the whole movie.
Never seen it. I saw
Forrest Whitaker's in it.
Away. I've seen Arlington Road.
That's this unsexy sister film to Blown
Isn't
Away.
that also about a bomb maker?
It is.
It is.
But that's about white nationalists or sovereign citizens.
I mean,
this is about Irish sovereign citizens.
Yes.
I'm down
also
for either.
White.
I'm down for either. Alex.
Also nationalists.
Both sound pretty good. So.
Let's do 71 because 71 is actually set in Ireland, so everybody will be Irish, either regular Irish or North Irish.
All right, cool. I'll put it on the Plex. All right, next week, 71. Gonna be a lot of fun.
Not about Irish baseball.
Gogs, do they have what? What is that? I don't understand.
Was it 61? Was that the movie?
Oh
60?
God.
Oh, that was the Roger Maris. Barry Pepper played Roger Maris.
I forgot that movie.
Thomas Jane played Mickey Mantle.
I believe so.
Yikes.
Bless you for remembering that movie. Of all movies you remember, that's so fucking weird.
It's just a number.
You don't even care about baseball.
I don't.
71 is the movie about a Barry Bonds chasing history. Injecting himself in the ass with Balco steroids.
That's like one time Gogs threw around, he said something to me about the fucking Black Sox scandal, and I was like, the fuck did this motherfucker, but you must have saw it in some mob movie, because it was tied to the mob. Is that how you knew?
It was the Field of Dreams. It was a subplot in Field of Dreams.
Oh yeah, because Ray Liotta plays Shoeless Joe Jackson, doesn't he?
Right.
That's correct.
It's also a subplot in Boardwalk Empire, if you remember, because the one guy was one of the guys that fucking paid off all the baseball.
Also, there's a song by this folk singer I like called Tennessee Mountain Landis. It's all about Tennessee Mountain Landis, the judge who exposed the Black Sox scandal and made everybody pay.
Fascinating.
Tennessee Mountain Landis. He's a bad motherfucker.
You're like a fucking croissant. You got so many layers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I got levels.
Just as full of butter.
My arteries are clogging as we speak. I'm like a nice laminated dough.
That's the show. Drink some green beer that's left over from St. Patrick's Day. God, yikes. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Lada bitch.